Well, I think what's unique about Aramark in terms of it being a great company is the people there are so nice and nurturing. When you join Aramark, you're going into a service industry. The law is a service industry. We're supposed to be servants and work for our clients. Frequently, our clients aren't in the service industry, and they're different kinds of people. But in Aramark, your clients are also in the hospitality industry, and so I think there's a type of person who goes into these roles who is very, kind, sensitive.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Josh Martin. I'm the talent marketing manager here at Aramark. And I'm sitting here today with Deirdre Attea, who is going to tell us a little bit about her experience as a legal professional at Aramark. Deirdre, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Deirdre Attea, and I've been in Aramark since 2008, although technically an employee of Aramark for only 6 years. So I have a lot of knowledge of Aramark and only a relatively brief tenure there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending some time with me today. To get this conversation started, I'd love to just kind of start with the beginning. And if you could, just tell us a little bit about why you entered the legal field in the first place and what your educational background is.
Okay, well, I was a teacher after graduating from college with a degree in economics and English. And I loved teaching, but it didn't seem to have a pathway forward in terms of supporting myself. And so my father said, why don't you go to law school, because it will open a lot of doors. And it has opened a lot of doors. And since then, I graduated from Notre Dame. I worked at a large law firm in Philadelphia for 8 years. I did mergers and acquisitions and real estate financing. Then out of the blue, an opportunity came up where I could go work part-time in Delaware at a specialty chemical company that was newly formed, and I really liked the people who interviewed me. So I thought in this stage of my life it was worth it to go because I had 2 small children. And I worked part-time at the specialty chemical company, eventually becoming general counsel. And then we started to sell off all of our subsidiaries, and I was commuting to our last subsidiary up in Massachusetts for a year, but then I decided that maybe it was time for me to take a break, and I was going to become a woman of leisure and a full-time mother. But the crash happened, and my husband told me, maybe you should go back in and start practicing again and just try temping or doing something part-time. And this opportunity at Aramark came up for a summer, a couple months over the summer. And I was talking to this headhunter I knew, and they said, well, Aramark's a great legal department. It's bigger than the legal department that you were in. Lots of great people. It will have like a law firm feel to it. And you can certainly set your hours. And I came in and met with them, and everyone was lovely. And it was a great experience. And 6 months, I think, stayed till about 5 years. I was a temp for 5 years, and I loved every minute of it.
Awesome. Yeah, probably not the conventional legal career path story, but that's really cool to hear.
Right.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about what your experience at Aramark has been like, particularly how either your leaders or the organization in general have supported your growth and development as a legal professional.
Okay, well, that's easy. When I came on board, I was temp, and I worked in K-12, which does national school lunches. And we had a great team. The leader of the team was fabulous. He treated me as if I were a member of the Aramark staff, and everyone in the legal department at Aramark treated me as if I was a member of the team. I knew nothing about the highly regulated area of school lunches, but the training is there. The nice thing about, I think, working at Aramark is, when you go in-house, sometimes you go in-house and it's a very small legal department. My other legal department was internationally only 7 people. And so everyone's very busy, and while you become close, you don't have all the colleagues that you would have in a bigger legal department like Aramark. And Aramark has very many, I think about 50, I'm not quite sure, but
Mhm.
just in our Philadelphia office alone, there are 30 lawyers that you can just talk to all the time. And I think that makes a world of difference. And you could just walk in and talk to anyone and ask them questions, and they would give you, their expertise. We have some people who have been here forever who could tell you everything that you need to know about the history. We have people just coming in from different businesses or law firms that have unique experiences. So I think everything builds, everyone is able to build on the experiences of others. And while sometimes working in-house can be lonely because there are so many other legal professionals in the department, it never is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's another thing that I was curious about. It sounds like you're touching on a lot there. Is, obviously there's tons of different environments and companies and organizations you can have a legal career within, but I'm curious what, in your opinion, is unique about Aramark's culture as pertains to being a legal professional.
Well, I think what's unique about Aramark in terms of it being a great company is that the people there are so nice and nurturing. When you join Aramark, you're going into a service industry. The law is a service industry. We're supposed to be servants and work for our clients. Frequently, our clients aren't in the service industry, and they're different kinds of people. But in Aramark, your clients are also in the hospitality industry. And so I think there's a type of person who goes into these roles who is very, kind, sensitive. Not everyone is kind and sensitive, but very fun people that you would like to talk to, and different kinds of people who are good in crisis. I find that people who work with food can improvise and handle things well. So in the legal department, I think we have people from all, big law firms, small law firms. We have people who have just come out of college. It's a whole different kind of, all different walks of life. And I think that at least in the last 6 or 7 years, we have been realizing that, like a law firm, sometimes we have to do more training in-house, because even if you come from another line of business, or if you come from another organization or from a law firm, you still have to learn the business. There are things that, you could be an excellent lawyer, but there are things that are uniquely Aramark. And so there's been great emphasis put on training. And I know that Mike Kaufman and Chris Stearns and Frank Testa and Melissa Merkel have put together these great training programs where we try to teach people who may not have as much experience, different areas of the law, and also teach everyone how to succeed in Aramark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so great to hear, and so important, especially for folks who maybe are still in school and thinking about that first legal job or that first gig. I think a lot of times people don't necessarily consider organizations like Aramark as a great place to start and to grow. So that's really good to hear.
Well, and actually that's a great point, because when I started to practice, my father was a lawyer, and the thought was, when you get out of law school, you should get a job at a law firm. And that's where you get the training, because a new lawyer should be like a sponge. You learn, you learn, you learn, you learn. And so going in-house wasn't really viable. And actually, when you were looking at people who were recruiting from in-house positions, they wanted people with 6 or 7 years experience, because they didn't want to do the training. In Aramark, we can do the training now. There are things that, it's a nice pathway. There is a pathway to either rise in Aramark or to come to Aramark and to go other places. So we are taking on what was traditionally a law firm training and trying to do it in-house.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. One of the most common questions that, in my opinion, every person looking for a job should ask is not only how can I contribute now, but what's in it for me in the future. So that's always important.
Right, and I don't know if this is off the cuff, or no, I'm not supposed to be going into this area, but if you look at the Aramark alum, because certainly I've been here for so long, there have been people who have come and left, and they go places, and there are connections there, and I still have very close friends who are at different places. When I started out being a lawyer, I came to Philadelphia and I didn't know anyone. And so for the longest time, all my friends were from my old law firm. And even when I went in-house, I made new friends, but all of my great friends from Philadelphia are from my old law firm. And I never thought that that would ever evolve. But, being at Aramark for so long, I have lots of great friends who now aren't at Aramark, but who I still am very close with. And so I think that kind of shows you what kind of people go into Aramark and how it is something more than just a job.
Amazing. Yeah, that's great. It's not just about who stays, but the experience you have is applicable outside the organization as well. So it's good to hear.
And I know that our general counsel, Lauren, is quite interested, or actually quite passionate about the progress of people and how you can shepherd people in. I think when you're a general counsel, you like to look for talent. And if you don't treat your talent well, or if you don't give them certain opportunities, the talent will leave. And she is very cognizant of that fact and is very supportive of any endeavor that people undertake to train or to bring others along. And so I think that culture permeates throughout the company or throughout the legal department.
Yeah, in getting to know her, I picked up on that as well, for sure. Awesome. Well, we're coming up on time here, but I just had one last question, and it's for the folks who are looking at Aramark to start their legal career, or even grow their legal career if they're established. What would your advice or your feedback be as somebody who's part of the organization to folks who are considering Aramark?
I would say come in and meet us. I would say that that's very telling. Come in, talk to us, ask honest questions, I think that probably maybe Aramark isn't for everyone. And I can't say that it is the right place for everyone. But I think when people come through the door and they meet us, they can tell if this is the place that they want to be. And of most people, I'd say, would want to be there. I mean, we're a Fortune 200 company. We have a very serious legal department and good practice, and we have fun, and it's a great environment. And I think you could only really tell that if you came in and talked to the people that you would be working with.
Awesome. Well, that's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for your time, Deirdre. Appreciate it. And I look forward to getting to know more about the legal department, and I wish you the very best in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you. All right, well, it's great. All right.